the 26th Amendment to the Constitution of Pakistan is perhaps the biggest drawback to the independence of the judiciary since at least 1996. The 18th Amendment defeated, the post-Musharraf consensus defeated, and the independence of the judiciary facing a very, very dark day. This is Nevertheless with Asad Rahim Khan. We're going to be discussing the 26th Amendment to the Constitution of Pakistan. If at all this can be called an amendment, given the current composition of Parliament and just how such a bill was drafted and delivered. But before we get into this aspect, what's important to remember is that this amendment completely changes how judges are appointed to these superior courts. And we might need to get into the history of that aspect just to be able to understand how consequential a change this is. Now, for the longest time, judges used to be handpicked by the chief executive. That changed in 1996 with the Al-Jihad case. Chief Justice Asad Ali Shah clashed with Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto over judicial appointments to the Lahore High Court and ruled that it would be in consultation with the Chief Justice that such appointments would be made. And consultation was given the broadest possible interpretation. Now, between 1996 and now, there have been many starts and stops as far as the judiciary trying to insulate its appointments process from the other two branches is concerned. The high water mark of that was 2010, the 18th Amendment. At the end of 9 years of Pervez Musharraf's dictatorship, we saw the Judicial Commission of Pakistan, a completely novel body where judges would decide the appointments of judges with input from the Attorney General, the Law Minister, and a representative of the bar. The judges, of course, were in the majority, and they could send their names to a parliamentary committee whose powers were further reduced by the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. Even if the committee had to send names back for reconsideration, it would be again the Judicial Commission which would have the final say in appointing judges to the superior courts. We've had that system for about 14 years. What's changed with the 26th Amendment after a series of verdicts which went against the executive's inclination, we now have a new Judicial Commission, a new parliamentary committee, and constitutional benches. So to break that down, the Chief Justice of Pakistan will now be chosen by a Special Parliamentary Committee, which is going to be decided, their appointments in the committee are going to be decided by proportional representation. So what that means is there will be no clean split between the opposition and the government. This will be a government-dominated body, which we now see, given that the PMLN has 4 seats, People's Party 3, MQM 1, as opposed to the PTI with 2,
Sunni Ittihad Council with 1 seat,
the JUIF with 1. Now, these 12 seats obviously favor the ruling party coalition, and they will now choose between the 3 senior-most judges of the Supreme Court who gets to be the Chief Justice of Pakistan. What's one major drawback? For starters, this incentivizes all 3 contenders to curry favor with the executive of the time. The second aspect is it injects a brand new layer of instability. In Pakistan, appointments to such high offices are extremely contentious and tend to have shockwaves of their own when political intrigue starts reaching a certain crescendo. Now, the judicial appointments process was insulated from that to a great extent at the highest level. So, Chief Justice of Pakistan, the appointment of the Chief Justice of Pakistan would be by seniority. That is no longer the case. That too has now become a brand new variable. The second aspect is the Judicial Commission appointing all other judges. So this commission now has the Attorney General, the Law Minister, 2 sitting members from the Treasury benches, 2 opposition members, and a technocrat member. So already you have 8 non-judicial members of the Judicial Commission, which is in complete contrast to how the commission used to be, which was dominated by judges. And on the other end, you have 5 judges in the commission, including a retired judge. Now, what this opens up is, given the fact that judges don't tend to vote in blocks, some vote for the executive, some vote against the executive, this automatically gives the government a direct advantage. They have 5 automatic votes and they just need 1 or 2 more to carry the day within the Judicial Commission, because that works on simple majority. The third and most confusing aspect is constitutional benches. Now, constitutional benches will again be decided by the Commission, and there will be a clean delineation between those cases that have constitutional aspects and those that do not. The trouble with such a distinction is that it's going to be very, very difficult to be able to actually draw a line between criminal matters, for example, and constitutional matters, or civil matters, for example, and constitutional matters. So the constitutional benches will first have to decide this confusion as to what constitutes a constitutional matter and what does not. So, taken together, the 26th Amendment to the Constitution of Pakistan is perhaps the biggest drawback to the independence of the judiciary since at least 1996. So the post-Musharraf consensus is over. The independence of the judiciary has been not only curtailed, it has now been made entirely subject to the executive, and what we are seeing, at least over the next few weeks and months, is complete judicial confusion over what aspect is a constitutional matter and what aspect is not. If the government's main motive was to eliminate pendency, it should also be remembered that pendency is the biggest problem in the lower courts. Keeping that in mind, this was a mechanism that was evolved after a series of defeats by the executive, whether that was reserved seats, whether that was elections in 90 days, whether that was military trials of civilians, and the result is now before us. It is the 18th Amendment defeated, the post-Musharraf consensus defeated, and the independence of the judiciary facing a very, very dark day. This was nevertheless with Asad Rahim Khan.